with you guys. Okay, just I'm going to be in and out between sharing my screen and coming in on video. So wait, before I share my screen, let's just talk about, what is sales, right, at a high level. So I know this room, we have a variety of skill sets. We have a variety of positions. I know Jared back there, you have many years of sales and marketing experience. I know I can tell from your website. Person on, was it Kevin?
Yes.
Kevin, we talked yesterday, right? Right, so you have a background as a personal assistant. Now you're working the front desk as a receptionist. Charles, I know we talked about, being, entering from the sales manager position. So we have a variety of skill sets and experience levels. So I'm going to keep the training a little bit on the generic side, but it's going to allow for engagement. And I want everybody in the room to be able to share, their experiences with each other, because there's a lot of value and experience in this room already, so that everybody learns together. Does that make sense? Awesome. Awesome. So real quick, before I move on, does anybody have any questions for me just about my background or anything like that before I jump into the training? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Give me a second, guys. I'm just pulling up my notes here. All right, so again, at a high level, right, what is sales, right? Selling is the process of finding people's pains, disturbing them, stirring them up, and really making them feel the hurt. Then helping them heal that hurt, with their choices, right? And usually that's their choice to invest in your product or service. And in this case, we're talking about the ID Lofts project, right? So at a very high level, that is the process. You have to identify people's pains. We have to disturb them. We have to stir it. We really got to make them feel the hurt. And then we got to heal that hurt with, with what you have to offer with the ID Lofts project, with the units, whether that be it from the investment standpoint, or whether that be for someone that wants to live there, or the medical professional, whatever that is. Every single person that you speak to about the project, they're going to have their own unique sets of pains, right? And it's really identifying what that is. I can just, my personal experience, guys, is I'm a very optimistic person and I tend, in the past, before I was trained in sales, I never wanted to speak about pains. I didn't want to talk about negative things. What I realized in my experience is that without pain, there is no change, right? And along with that, without pleasure, the change doesn't last. So it's a carrot and stick, right? Whenever we're making a sell, we have to get people associated to what is the pain if they don't make this decision, right? Hell if they do not, and what's the pleasure when they do, right? Or heaven if they do. Does that make sense? Awesome. So I welcome conversation and engagement. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, Kevin, I'd love to hear, I'm going to go back and forth to everyone here. This is a conversation. What did you hear from that? Just that definition of, the selling process and what selling is about. What did you hear from that, Kevin?
People bring, I really don't know.
What's that?
I'm not sure that I understand it right now, so you might want to speak to some other persons.
No, it's okay. There's no wrong answer, Kevin. There's no wrong answer. What comes up for you personally? What did you hear from that? How do you feel that applies to you or in your experiences?
I don't know how it applies to me at the front desk.
Say again, please.
I don't know how it applies to me at the front desk.
Got it. Okay. So I get that you don't know how it applies, but if you could think of one way it could possibly apply to you at the front desk when people are calling and you're speaking with them, how do you think that might apply?
I could connect them with a sales agent who can take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So connecting with the sales agent, and we talked about figuring out what their pain or frustration is. So maybe as a front desk person, the first line, just being listening for, hey, what is this person's pain or frustration right now? Why is it that they're calling? What do they want? Right? And then really just being aware to it, and maybe even communicating to them, hey, I get that you're calling because right now you need to downsize your house, for example, right? Maybe you're a senior citizen and your kids have moved out of the house and the house is too big for you, or maybe you can't afford the payments anymore. And this micro living idea is ideal for you because you want to lower your cost and live in a smaller space. Did I hear you correctly, right? Listening for what is the reason why they might be interested. And when they hear that you know what their pain or frustration is, they're going to be much more engaged with continuing that conversation. Does that make sense? Yeah. So again, always listening for what is this person. Maybe they don't say it right away, but we're listening for it. What's their pain, right? Charles, you had your hand raised. How would you like to share, sir? What comes up for you? Where did you hear from this?
Similar stuff. If I can repeat what you said about the sale was find people's pain first, and then stir up their hurt, and then provide the solution to heal up their hurts, their pain, and therefore we can close that sales. That's the step process.
Yes, I agree. What about you, Michael, in the back? What did you hear from the sales process? What does that mean to you? How did it show up for you in your experience?
I feel that when it's going to be tough to find out exactly what their needs and what their frustrations are, and once you do, if you're able to provide them with some sort of solution to that, then that means that they're going to be more engaging, they're going to be friendly towards you and open up towards you, that you'll be able to close that sale easily, because on a standpoint of getting familiar with them, becoming friendly with them, they're not just a client, a customer, they're more like someone that you're associating with, that you're a friend.
Yeah, that's good feedback. Absolutely. I'd like to hear from one of the lovely ladies back there. In your experience, what has been your experience of the sales process? Or what did you hear from this? What did you learn from this? Or how do you feel it applies to you?
To be honest, I have no experience in sales, so I never I never know this. I never have experience in sales.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I get that you've never had experience. So consider that you've been selling your entire life. Are you married?
Yes.
Yes. So you'll probably have to convince your husband of a few things every once in a while, right? You probably have to sell him on some of the things that you want or the things that you want to do, correct? So consider you've been selling your whole life, or at least your whole marriage. So listen for what you're learning here. It's not just about making money. It really is about leadership and influence, right? How to listen for your, I'm just using this example, what your husband's, pain point might be, so that you could influence him with something that you want to do. And does that make sense? So great. So I'm glad you shared that. Other lovely lady there, how do you feel that, this shows up for you, or what experience do you have with the sales process?
Yeah, I work as a realtor before, but I feel the high level of sales is art, not just sell something. And you must have lots of knowledge and good personality and customer service, not just sell something people they want.
Yeah, so what I heard you say is that it's an art.
Yeah.
And that it requires having knowledge, right, of what it is that you're offering. Being professional. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. And sir, here on the right side of the room, I'm sorry, your name one more time? Sorry, one more time?
John?
John?
Yes.
Did I hear you correctly, John? Okay, great. John, how about yourself, sir? What's been your experience with the sales process, or how do you feel this relates to you?
Well, I feel like it relates to every single sale. It doesn't matter whether you're selling ties at Neiman's or micro condominiums east of downtown Houston. Everybody walks through the door. There's a reason for that. Either they're not happy where they are, or there's a catalyst of change happening. You have to know your product frontwards and backwards in order to identify what brought those people in the door and how you can solve their problem and get them sold in.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. Yeah, like you said, the process is universal. It doesn't matter if you're selling bow ties or you're selling condominiums. It's the same process, right? And it applies to condominiums and it applies to your, you know, your husband or your relationships, whatever. We're always enrolling people in what we're doing, right? And trying to influence them to take an action, right? In a way, you know, it's a form of leadership, right? Getting someone from where they're at to take an action that they probably wouldn't have taken without you, right? That is leadership and that's sales.
It's a signal. I don't know. Wait for people to join.
We can see ourselves.
Video
here.
call.
See the small
I think he got kicked off.
video there. Click. Maybe either. Click either.
Yeah,
It says,
spirit.
it says come back and attack. Start. Shit.
John,
Yes.
go ahead.
It says wait for someone to join, but there's no more people to join.
All right,
All right, it's
I'm back. We had a little technical
Right.
issue on my end. Can you hear me okay?
yeah. Well, thank you again.
Okay. Outstanding. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you for that discussion. It's good. It's good to hear where everybody's at relative to, hey, what's your belief or your experience with sales, right? And so, can we all agree? Can we all come to the same page and agree that, you know, sales really comes down to is leadership, right, and influence, and getting people to take an action that they probably wouldn't have taken if it wasn't for your interaction. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's about identifying people's issues and hot buttons and knowing how to press it to find the solution that they maybe don't even know that they're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into it. They may not even know that they're looking for it.
Like
So I
peeling away at an onion.
Go ahead, John.
Like peeling away the layers of an onion to identify the underlying issues, you know, that brought them to you in the first place, and how you can give them something that will make them better.
Absolutely. Agreed 100%. So, you know, my philosophy, guys, is that every member of this team, you know, whether you're directly on the sales team or whether you're not on the sales team, but you're part of the same effort, right? And it's really, it's leadership, right? Taking a vision, you know, the vision for the Ivy Lofts project, you know, which is just an idea at one point in somebody's head, and really bringing that into reality as a team, right? That is leadership, right? Creating a future that wasn't going to happen without you, right? So everyone here in this room, everyone on the team, you're all leaders. You guys are all part of this enormous project, and it's going to involve leadership, it's going to involve influence, and it's going to involve sales, whether in some way, shape, or form. Would you guys all kind of agree on that? Can we all be on the same page around that belief?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sound good? Thumbs up? Does that make sense? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. Great. Awesome. Because I wanted to say that because sometimes when I train people, some people in the room might have some kind of belief around sales, like sales is something I'm not good at, or sales is pushy, or any kind of negative beliefs around that. And I want to put those things aside. And so we're all in agreement that sales in this context is about influence, about leadership. It's about helping people. All right. At the end of the day, my psychology and the psychology I teach people is that selling is service. Selling is service. You might want to write that down. Selling is service, and remind yourself of that every single day. You know, especially before you go into any kind of conversation where you're going to, you know, ask for a sale. Know that you are serving that person. You know, if they walk away a buyer, they are better for it. Okay, so let me see. 1 second, I'm going to pull up my notes again. Actually, on that note, I want to address it real quick. I made an assumption. I don't want to make an assumption here. Does anyone in this room have any negative connotations, any negative beliefs when it comes to selling. It's okay. You can be very honest. You know, anything that you may have thought in the past, like, oh, salesmen, they're whatever, they're greasy or they're pushy, whatever that might be. Has anyone ever had any like negative connotation or negative beliefs as to why you don't want to sell or you don't feel like selling is a good thing? Does anyone ever have that come up for them? Any beliefs?
That's just general, you know, statistics shows sometimes you see newspaper or media talk about it, you know. Salesmen, car salesmen or real estate agents have been on the bottom of the trust level.
Yeah, I get it. So what I heard you say, Charles, is in general, like the stereotype is that
Yes.
people in the sales industry, they tend not to be the best integrity or the best, you know, the best people, which is not. So that's perfect. So that's a perfect belief. Okay, and Kevin, just to fill you in, what we're discussing right now is any kind of limiting beliefs around selling that we might have, right? And so I asked, does anybody in the room have any like limiting beliefs around selling or something they at some point might have believed to be false? And then Charles said, hey, you know, there's a stereotype that, you know, sometimes people in the real estate industry or the brokerage industry, like they sell and they're not necessarily the best people, right? They're just pushy or whatever. So I just want to address that belief real quick. And I want to actually teach you guys something. I call it the 3 questions in the turnaround. And by the way, anytime that you have a belief that comes up for you around selling or any limiting belief that's stopping you from achieving your goals in your position, whether it be the receptionist or marketing or sales team leader, I'm going to teach you guys a really powerful process right now that you can use anytime with yourselves and with each other to get past that. Okay? So the first step, Charles, is, you know, I'm going to first of all, I'm going to do it and then I'm going to explain what I did. Okay? So Charles,
Yeah.
what is the limiting belief that you shared from the past?
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, what was that old limiting belief that you shared?
The old
Limiting belief?
or the old limited belief?
Yes.
Well, when I purchased my the car I'm currently drive, I feel like I was pushed to buy an extra warranty, and so that kind of reflect to what general public believe, that a salesperson are really pushy and, you know, not honest.
Great, that's perfect. So you have the belief that salespeople are pushy, right? And what was the rest of that? Salespeople are pushy and what?
And
What was it?
dishonest, kind of
Well, sorry, say it one more time, please.
dishonest.
Okay, perfect. So salespeople are pushy and dishonest. Thank you. And the experience you had was when you purchased your car, they put an extra warranty on you that you didn't really feel you needed, right? Did I hear you correctly? Great. So can anybody in the room relate to maybe that thought having existed for you at some point in your life, that salespeople are pushy and they're dishonest? Has that ever come up for you in your thinking process? You can be honest. Have you ever thought of that?
I think it's all in the way that you, number one, know your product so you can make someone want it. And 2, it's all in the approach. I have 20 years in the real estate industry. I have 7 years of pre-sale condo experience. And it's not about shoving your product on them. It's about, again, peeling back the layers of an onion, identifying their needs, what their wants, what their expectations are, and then pushing those buttons to make them want what you have. Why it's the absolute best thing for them.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. So Kevin, let me ask you, have you ever had that thought that salespeople are pushy and sometimes they're dishonest? Have you ever thought that at any point in your life? You can be honest.
Sure.
Yeah, at some point maybe you had an experience, right? So let's just examine that belief. And John, I agree with you. So that's where we're going to examine this together. So is that true? Is it true that salespeople are pushy, that all salespeople are pushy and that they're dishonest? Or is it possible that maybe some are pushy and dishonest, and because of those some, maybe that one experience you might have had, that we made a generalization that all salespeople are pushy and dishonest? Is it possible, like John said, that when a salesperson knows their product well and they're able to educate and add value, and really match up their product with the client's needs, that they're not pushy and dishonest. Is that possible?
I think pushy and dishonest, if you're pushy and dishonest, you're not going to last in any business that you're in.
Agreed. So coming back to the question, is it possible that's not true? That the statement that all salespeople are pushy and dishonest, is it possible that that's not true?
I think there's a few in, every 100, but by and large, those people won't stand the test of time.
I agree. So Kevin, would you agree there that it's possible that it's not true?
Right.
Okay, perfect. So Kevin, let me ask you, what do you believe, or how do you experience life, right? Being let's just say working as a receptionist, when you believe the thought that if I'm selling somebody, I'm being pushy and they might think I'm dishonest. How do you feel when you believe that to be true? If you're working at the front desk and you feel like if I try to sell them, I'm being pushy and they might think I'm dishonest. How does that make you feel?
It concerns me.
Okay, tell me more about that. How does it concern you?
Because you want to change people's, maybe their misconceptions about what they're going to experience once they meet a salesperson here.
Yeah. And so how does that impact you? Like that thought, like, oh, they might think I'm pushy, they might think I'm dishonest. How does that make you feel if they think you're pushy and dishonest?
I'm indifferent to that feeling.
Okay, got it. So what would it be like, Kevin, if you working at the front desk, if that thought never existed, the thought never existed for you that, that if I try to sell them, then I'm being pushy, or that they think I'm dishonest. If that thought didn't exist, if you felt free to just communicate and to refer them to the sales team and maybe even close some deals on the phone, how would you feel that thought didn't exist? What would life be like if it didn't exist for you?
I guess easier.
Yeah. And would you think it'd be easier for you to make an appointment with the sales rep?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So let's turn that statement around, right? We're going to turn that statement around, and we're going to make a statement that's the opposite of that previous statement, Charles. So what would be a statement that would say that the opposite of salespeople are pushy and dishonest? What would be a statement that would be the opposite of that statement?
Would be very attentive, will be very caring their need, and being very honest upfront.
Outstanding. So salespeople are caring, they're attentive, and they're honest. That would be an opposite statement. Perfect. So this is what I would like to do. I want to go around the room. I want everybody to share one experience in your life where you had a salesperson that was caring and that was honest and attentive to you and your needs. Just share one experience, one buying experience that you had where you saw a salesperson was honest, attentive, and caring to you, and you bought. John, hello, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, you faded out.
Oh, okay, my bad, excuse me. So John, could you share an experience in your life where you had a salesperson that was honest, they were attentive, they were caring, and you ended up buying and you were happy to buy?
Yeah, actually, I have first of all, I'm the hardest sale that anybody can make. I pretty much know what I want and I'll go out and find it. So a couple of years ago, I had a wedding that I was going to. It was kind of a country rock and roll, and I went to Neiman's Last Call out in Cape. And I had seen this ridiculously expensive designer evening jacket that had been hanging around for like a year and a half. And so this salesperson that I had gone to before and had developed sort of a small relationship with, I'm like, look, this even at 40% off is a ridiculous price. I'm never going to amortize the wearing because I'll only wear it once a year. Would you rather sell it to me now for a lower price? Is there any chance that we can make that happen? And I went out to the food court, ate, did some other shopping with my cousin, and came back. They knocked 25% off the price. I walked out the door, final sale, no return. And I've been going back to that same person now for the last couple of years.
Outstanding. And you felt he was honest, he was attentive, he was caring, you were happy, and you've been going back for 25 years.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. Perfect example. Kevin, can you think of an example, an experience you had in your life where you worked with the sales rep and you felt he was caring, he was attentive, he was honest, and you ended up buying and being a happy customer?
When I purchased a car, the person was friendly and showed a lot of interest in what I was looking for and made it easier.
Outstanding. Yeah. So when you bought your car, he was honest, he was friendly, and you were a happy customer. Perfect. What about Michael back there? Michael, can you share an experience where you worked with a sales rep that was kind, they were engaged, they were friendly, they were honest, and you were happy?
When I purchase stuff, I tend to do a lot of homework before that. Something that I want and something that I like the price, that I can accept the price. And then therefore I will go out and shop for that item. And if it's actually in stores, let's just say, for example, a TV. If I saw the TV at a specific size and a specific price, I want it in that specific price. I go to shop for it. And at the stores, they would say, oh, do you want extended warranties on top of the TV for 2 years, for 5 years, for 7 years, and a certain amount of price. And to me, I just think I'm not going to do much with the TV other than it's going to sit there and I'm going to use it, but I'm not going to drop it. I'm not going to throw water at it. So there's no need for that extended warranty. And as a part of sales in Best Buy in the past that I worked with, is that I have knowledge of what is being covered in that warranty. And yes, some people might be clumsy or might have children and stuff. They might need that coverage. But for me, is if I don't need the coverage, they don't need to oversell on it, but at least if they know what it is and I know what it is, and if they just at least tell me that they're doing their job, and I'm just graciously saying that, no, I do not need that.
Got it. So can you share an experience where you did buy and you felt your sales rep, he was attentive, he was kind, he was caring, and you were happy to buy?
Oh, the TV. I have bought a TV recently, and I like the price, I like the size, and then I went there and I know that they were going to pitch me the warranty, and I just graciously said I don't need it. I don't need the extra years of warranty. I'm okay with the manufacturer warranty. I'm not going to throw the TV across the room. I'm not going to, spill water or coffee and right. Therefore, that they don't need to sell me that extra warranty. I just thought they helped me, and I got the TV, and I'm walking out the door with just the TV.
Great. So you were happy with your experience with the sales rep that you worked with. Okay, outstanding. I'd love to hear from one of the lovely ladies an experience that you had when you bought. I know you like to shop. When you bought something and you had a good experience with your sales rep, where you felt they were kind, they cared, they were honest, and you were happy to buy and had a good experience.
Me?
Yes, please.
It's mostly we like to shop. When I shop, I like to shop different store, and I know what I want and what price I'm looking for. Then I probably go back again and try it and get one, try it if I like it, and then go back again. So
outstanding. Yeah, good. You come back because you had good experience, right? Yeah. So again, I know I don't think it was predominant in the room, but I just wanted to address it. So we all have had great experiences, right? And so again, I want to reinforce the belief that selling is service, as long as we're doing it correctly, like you said, John, with the right approach, being a professional, like you said, and really making sure that we're matching our service or our product with the need, right, or the pain or the desire of that client, and we're doing it in a professional manner, that we're creating a great experience, because we enjoy buying, right? Us as consumers, we enjoy buying, and we're giving that gift to someone else. They have the gift of getting to buy, right? So great. Thank you guys for taking on that conversation and for sharing. So I'm going to take one step up here and just talk about, the learning process, right? There's 5 steps, and you might want to write this down. There's 5 steps to mastering anything whether it be sales, marketing, whatever you're doing, you know, there's 5 steps. Number 1, right, it's just initial impact, just doing it, right? Whatever you do, just have to do it. Just get it going. Like, you have to get started to get good at something, but you can't get good without getting started. So whether that be sales or anything for that matter, you just got to start going at it. You just got to start having the conversations, and you're going to learn, right? Step 2 in mastery is repetition, right? Doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right? In the very beginning, no matter what we start, we're going to suck. I'm going to suck when I start something brand new. Like, if I were going to go learn, I'm just going to make this up, learn how to play the violin, which I don't know how to do currently, I would probably suck. I'm sure I would suck, right? even in the very beginning, until I kept practicing, right? So it's always the case, even with sales. And even if we have experience with sales, like many people in the room do here, Charles and John, when we're selling something new, a new offer in the very beginning, we're going to stumble a little bit, right? As we refine our offer and we get experience to figure out what works and what doesn't work. It is utilization, right? Again, figuring out what's working, what's not working. How do we make sure we keep doing more of what's working, letting go of what's not working? And also, how do we integrate? You know, how do we do, number 4 would be, you know, what do we do differently to get what didn't work in our approach to work? Right? How do we integrate new approaches into our current approach? How do we integrate it all together? And then finally, 5 is reinforcement, right? And we get reinforced, right, when we make a sale, right? Work that is rewarded is repeated. You know, I'm sure you guys have heard that one. Work that's not rewarded is not repeated. You know, for example, I'll give an insurance example. For anyone who's been in the insurance industry or in the real estate industry, there are many people that get their real estate licenses or their insurance licenses. Most people don't stick around for more than a year. And typically, it's a broker or a realtor who makes a sale within the first few months or first year. They stick around because they got reinforced that what they were doing, you know, they got a benefit, they got paid, right? And they had a pat on the back, job well done. If we don't get reinforced, if we don't get a benefit from it, then that's going to become diminished. So it's important that we go through these processes: impact, repetition, utilization, integration, reinforcement. And we'll come back to these things at a high level. Also, from the learning process, right? Whenever we're learning something new, whether it be sales skills or maybe just the offer, right? The Ivy Lofts residential offer, you know, at the very beginning, we're going to have a level of unconscious incompetence. So there's 4 levels, right, in the learning process. 1, we're unconsciously incompetent. We don't even know what we don't even know yet, right? We don't even know what mistakes we're making yet, right? In the very beginning, we have no clue, but that's the first step, right? The next step in learning is conscious incompetence, is when we actually know what we don't know yet, right? We know what we don't know, or we know what we're not good at yet. That's the second phase. And the third phase is conscious competence. It's now we've gotten practice, we're good, we know we're good, right? We're intentional about it, we become consciously competent. And then finally, the 4th phase is unconscious competence, where you've done it so much that you just do it automatically, right? You don't even think about it. It's just part of your process. It's just how you come across. I'll give a simple example. A pilot who flies an airplane, right? I know everybody in this room has probably flown a plane or on a plane, commercial plane. That pilot in the cockpit, by the way, I was a pilot for 6 years, so I can speak from experience. That pilot went through many years of training and experience and simulations of many different situations to be able to fly that plane, right, at the commercial level. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of training. You better believe in the very beginning they were not as good as they are now. But where they are now, most of the pilots that fly that plane, most of the things they do when they're pulling levers, pushing buttons, checking the gauges, talking on the radios, most of the things they do automatically. You know, they're unconsciously competent because they've done so many repetitions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Got it. So I want to check in with you guys real quick and just see what you heard from the 5 steps to mastery and from the learning process. What you heard from what I just shared and how you feel it might apply to you.
We just missed the 3rd point.
Oh, okay, the third point?
Yeah.
So on the mastery or the learning process? Yeah, the third point is utilization.
Mastery.
Okay, great. So the third point is utilization, right? It's figuring out what doesn't work, right? What works and what doesn't work, and continuing to use or utilize what's working, and to let go of what's not working. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. So Michael, how do you feel the learning process applies to you? Like, where have you seen this process showing up? Maybe in your life or here in the office with the Ivy Lofts project. How do you feel it applies to you? Where do you see it in your life?
I feel that in any kind of workforce, that as long as it's there's repetition and what the information that I've been getting is accurate, and that I retain it, and that repeatedly provide that to our customers that are walking in the doors. And I think the most important one is the repetition. So get the accurate information out and repeat it constantly to that are walking in the door. I will be able to do well in this business.
Great. Yeah, like you said, the most important thing is just keep doing it over and over again. Repetition, right? You're going to get better and better. Perfect example. Outstanding. So I'm going to move in, guys, into the actual sales training right now. I just make sure we lay that foundation for mindset and beliefs and kind of the learning process, right? So again, it's okay. I know the ladies in the room maybe don't have a lot of sales experience, but that's okay, right? It's okay. We all suck when we get started, and you'll get better over time, right? So it's okay. Wherever you're at is perfectly fine in any area of your life. So again, I'm going to come back to the process of selling, right? It's step one. Obviously, we need to find a deep want or desire. People do not, necessarily buy what they need, even though we know what they need. We actually have to give people what they want first, and then we can give them what they need. Does that make sense? People aren't necessarily conscious of what they need. For example, if someone's obese, right? They don't necessarily, that they need a diet and they need exercise, but that's not necessarily what they want, right? Maybe what they want is a cheeseburger or something maybe what they want is something that tastes good, right? When they eat. I'm just using that as a hypothetical example. So we just got to be present, like, hey, what is it that they want? What is it that they desire, right? And be able to speak to that, and then giving them what they need. Like you were speaking about, John, before, having that conversation to really discover what they want, and then being able to fit in what they need as well. So step two, disturbing them, right? We have to stir up that hurt, right? And stirring up the hurt is not negative, right? It's our job to, number one, stir it up. Like what's the hurt? And then how can we heal that with our product, our solution here at Ivy Lofts, right? The unit, or as an investor, the investment here. And then finally, step three, again, show them how we can heal them using the product, right? Persuasion is a process of getting your customers to clearly associate their most desired feelings and states to your product or service. Does that make sense? So there's three key things here that come up for people. If these three things aren't present, or I should say two of these things must be present, and the third one we have to get rid of in order to have somebody make a buying decision. One is an emotional reason to buy right now, right? People must have an emotional reason to buy right now, right? Because what's predictable, people come to the office to a VIP day or demonstration, and they talk on the phone with the sales rep. What's predictable for most people is that they'll put off making a decision as long as they possibly can, because that's human nature, right? Human nature is to procrastinate, right? Until it's something that they must do right now, until there's so much pain associated to it that they must take action, or there's so much pleasure associated to it that they want to take action. So again, people must have an emotional reason to buy right and now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's about creating a sense of urgency.
Yeah, that's right. And on the other side of that, John, you know, people also need a logical reason to buy right now. They need to be able to, you know, people, most buying decisions, and I would argue maybe almost all of them, they're made emotionally, but then they get rationalized logically, right? We buy because we feel something. We feel good about a product, or we feel it's gonna give us what we're looking for, and then we rationalize it like, oh, I got a really good deal on it, right? Or I got a discount, right? Or like you said, or they were about to run out, so I bought mine before they ran out of stock, right? But both of these things are important, right? The emotional reason to buy right now, and then the logical reason to buy right now. Does that make sense? And then finally, the third thing, and this is kind of the thing that we want to remove, right, is the dominant reasons to avoid buying, right? People have reasons that they want to use to avoid buying. And think of the logical, think of it like a teeter-tot, right? If you imagine like a teeter-tot or like a scale, one side is all the emotional and logical reasons to buy right now, and the other side is all the dominant reasons to avoid buying. So our goal as an influencer is to tilt the scale in your favor, right? Give them enough urbans, call it urban for short, emotional reason to buy right now, and enough urbans so that it tilts the scale in the favor of making a decision to buy right now. Does that make sense? Everybody who walks through the door, who you speak on the phone, they're gonna have reasons to not to avoid buying. Everyone does, right? Some reasons. And again, the more emotional reasons we give them to buy right now, and the more logical reasons we give them to buy right now, begin to tilt the scale. If somebody is not ready to buy right now, it's simply that the scale is tilted in the favor of the dominant reasons that they have to avoid buying. Does that make sense?
Overcoming objections.
Yeah, and we're going to get into overcoming objections. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what did you guys hear from that? From the logic, what they need, logical reasons to buy, emotional reasons to buy, and then, you know, and then countering all of the reasons to not buy. Right? What did you guys hear from just that? Maybe you can share an experience of yours where you saw that to be true, or maybe you can see how that might apply here at the Ivy Lofts project with some of the units. Charles, I'd love to hear from you.
I'm thinking about it. I haven't found the example yet. I just, I guess when we shop for a van for my wife, and she really just saying she only needs something simple, but all she wanted is a van that she can carry people around. But I showed it to her that with extra features, little seats and etc., that make her life so much comfortable. I've been driving people around, but it's going to cost us $10,000 more. So practically, she doesn't need, but I showed it to her. It's much better to go that way if you know want to drive for a long time, 5 or maybe even 10 years down the road. Not $10,000 really worth the money that for her to pay the extra $10,000 to enjoy the life in in a nicer car. And so it's a practical matter and also the emotional matter. So it's fighting. Eventually, we made a choice to go that more expensive car. So, but after years, she really. I made a suggestion at times. Every time she drives the car, she feel that it's so much comfortable. Adjusted, adjustable that protected chair, and then little seats and etc. So that was a process that we have gone through with, emotional, with rationing, and now we conclude a decision and enjoy that product.
Perfect. Yeah. So you experienced the emotional reasons, right? Was like, hey, we love this car. You visualized how it was going to feel, how comfortable it was, how you probably as a man, you knew that your wife was going to have what she wanted, right? You want your wife to be happy.
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you say? What was the logical reason? The logical reason why you bought the car? What was the logical?
The logical reason is because, first of all, she wants a van, and that van is what she wanted.
Uh-huh.
And it was just, to me, the logical reason is for $10,000, you can purchase a long time comfort, a long time value, extra convenience as well, luxuries. Why not? That $10,000 for 5 years, that really comes to, very nominal expenses per year. So that's my reason. That's my reasoning to her. It's really worth the money.
Got it. Yeah. So you saw that the $10,000, the benefit was there over time for the 10,000. So you rationalize it. So perfect. Great example. And you saw how when you walked in to buy that car, you probably had a few reservations. You probably had a few reasons where you weren't going to buy the car that day, right? I imagine, right? But then all the logical reasons and the emotional reasons outweighed those concerns, and then you walked away with a car that day, right? And you were happy.
Right.
Yeah. So Michael,
Initially,
what's that?
Initially, like you said, we just wanted.
Yeah.
Initially, we just wanted something simple, but we end up with we want to spend. So.
Exactly. Would somebody else like to share an experience where they bought and they saw, what the logical reasons why were that they bought and the emotional reasons why they bought? You had an experience? Or Michael, let's talk about that TV real quick. You bought that TV recently. What was the emotional reason why you bought that TV?
I don't think it was an emotion. It was more like a necessity.
Okay, so how did it make you feel to buy that TV? When you bought that TV, did you feel like you were getting a good deal? Did you feel like, what were the emotions behind it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very, very affordable, and we needed it at the time, which all fitted for our need that we needed a TV, and the price was reasonable. And therefore, emotionally, I guess we fell in love with the TV.
Okay, perfect. You fell in love. You actually liked the TV, right? You fell in love with the TV itself, the unit.
Right.
Probably like you visualize, hey, what's that going to look like in my house? What's going to feel like, right? And then, like you said, logically, hey, I got a good deal, right? So, like, I'm ready to buy right now. This is exactly what I want. It's a good deal.
Right.
So perfect. So thanks for giving those examples. So I want to acknowledge, we got about 3 minutes left in our time together here, guys. So I want to go ahead and start wrapping it up so we end on time. We have a lot more training to share. What we'll probably end up doing is over the next few weeks, maybe one training every other week or so. We'll do something like this to continue to train and develop around the sales process. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. But I'd love to hear from you guys, just some quick feedback from this session. What worked for you guys? What didn't work? And what do you think we could do differently next time to make it better? Michael, would you like to give some feedback, man? What worked for you? What did you like about today's session?
Finding out a little bit more about how I need to approach the sales and the sales floor, how I need to approach the customers, and to somehow relate to them, and in a way getting to know them more or less than trying to sell them.
Awesome. What about you, Charles? What worked about this session? What did you like about today's training?
I think from the very beginning, I like your opening of the how to find people's pain and stir up their hurts, and then provide the solution to heal the hurts. I think that that's very branded. That's very straightforward. Straight in mind all the time when you talk to people. So you can it's a very simple but yet it's very effective strategy. If you can keep those strategies steps in mind, then you can guide your clients step by step to lead them to a sale. That's
Awesome.
first. Yeah. And second, the things we can do better, I think we spent about maybe 10-15 minutes to set up the meeting. So we should improve ourselves on our ends to make it happen on time, and therefore to save everybody's time.
Great. So a little more time to prepare the technology in advance so we can start on time. Good feedback. You guys have any other feedback on how we can make it better, the next training? No? Good. How about you? I would love to hear, what did you find most valuable from today's training for yourself? You can share. What did you find for yourself most valuable from today's training? What did you learn?
Myself?
Yeah. What did you learn for yourself?
You mean in here?
Yeah, from today's training.
I would say I have idea how to talk to the people. If nobody here, there's new customer coming, at least I can introduce to them, basically. So I would, like a receptionist to just introduction what we have, what kind of product, what I know, tell them what I know, tell them what I know.
Outstanding. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing, everyone. We're a minute past our scheduled time. I want to respect your guys' time and your schedules today. Thank you for participating fully and engaging in this training. And I do look forward to our next training together. And then I know I'll be in the sales office probably in November as well. So I look forward to seeing you guys in person and maybe having lunch together. So again, thank you guys for your feedback. Have an outstanding rest of your day. Remember, selling is service. Let's get out there. Let's communicate. Let's be professional. Let's communicate the possibility of the project, and let's help a lot of people. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. See you next time.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye.